We were actually the first adaptive system put in. We were able to have it put in by a developer that was putting in a mall at that time. Is like 1.2 million square feet. The amount of traffic it was supposed to generate is about 50,000 cars a day. So he had 4 signalized intersections to put in, plus rebuild a diamond interchange and those signals there. And so we actually started off with just the video detection portion of the InSync system. Then we built infrastructure utilizing broadband radios, tied everything together, and then brought it online, I believe it was about 2007. And we had run timing plans in there prior to that, and running pretty short cycles, but we still had problems with pulling people off the interstate. We had a very directional flow, a lot of people coming from the south and then from the north as well, and with typical timing plans and what we were able to run, we'd always get spillback out onto the main lanes. But with the InSync system, it was able to adapt, take care of the changes because they had different arrival rates, and we haven't had any more problems with spillback out onto the interstate because of it. But it's been a real good system.
We look to put our quarters near major generators. So on just about all of our quarters that we have, you'll either find schools, university, either pedestrian, quite a bit of pedestrian movements, a lot of preemption type stuff. But we looked for quarters to really test the system on for our state. Again, it sounds like we have a lot. We actually called it a pilot program, and it's, like I said, it's 13 quarters and 111 intersections total. And I get the question all the time, how is 111 intersections a pilot program? But we have about 3,000 signals that we manage in the state. So for us, 100 intersections is a pilot program.
We are not one of the larger communities in the state. In fact, we're ranked about number 8th. We have a population census population around 58,000, except we have 110 traffic signals that we take care of. One of the reasons for this is that our daytime population is up over 130,000. We have a large commercial office type developments that generate a lot of traffic in and out. That's one of the reasons I was looking towards the InSync system to help us out on that and our fluctuations in traffic and our traffic growth. We have roads today, 6 through lanes, double lefts, double rights, that are carrying 30,000 cars a day that we're projecting in the future to carry over 70,000 cars a day. And I didn't want to spend all my time timing traffic signals. Currently we have 7 intersections with InSync on 2 quarters, 1 quarter with 2 intersections, another quarter with 5. The one with 5 is along the west side of one of our large regional malls that we have in the area. Those went online in October of 2011. The nice thing was it was online ready for Black Friday. This area of the mall opens at midnight on Friday. I was in our TOC at 11 o'clock on Thursday evening, and I was there until 6 o'clock Friday night, straight through, mainly to see how InSync would operate. Other parts of our system, of our 110 intersections, we have over 60 of them that are in coordinated. We use Actra, Siemens controllers, Actra central office software. A lot of times you got to do a lot of tweaking and fine tuning, or even just setting the intersection to free. The 5 intersections of InSync, I was skeptical. I was worried about how I was going to handle the traffic. I was all ready to do manual overrides, but our mall, between midnight and 2 o'clock, they had over 30,000 people through the doors. By 6 o'clock in the morning, they had over 80,000 people through the doors, and I didn't have to do any manual overrides on the InSync system at all. I was busy on some of the other parts of the system, but we've been looking at InSync since about 2008, almost since it came on board, and I was hey, I need to see this in operation before I'm going to buy, and I think I've gone through, or I guess I haven't gone through, but I've worked with, I think, 3 different territory managers. I guess they get tired of working with West Des Moines, trying to get us off dead center to get a system in. But we've been very happy with what we have here so far.
I can tell you one of the things that lured us to look more at InSync was we have 5 different regions that handle signals across the state, and we had 4 different controller types. We wanted to purchase a system that could work on all of them. And that was the beauty of InSync, was that it could work with any controller we had out there. I think that was one of our initial thoughts, was to go looking down that path. Then some of the other features of it, like the video detection, even though all my regions don't prefer video detection, the idea that we could take that same video and pump it back to into our traffic operations centers and monitor the traffic on our arterials was a big plus for us.
Worked out well for us. One thing I can attest to is, since it's been in, we don't get any phone calls. You know, when your phone doesn't ring because of the signals on an arterial, that's good.
I was looking for something for a system where I didn't have to go out and be retiming signals. With the cameras and the historical data features that the InSync system has, that's worked real well when we've gone into fog mode. We had a case where we had one camera we had to move, and it was down for a day, and you really couldn't even tell any difference in the operation of the intersection with the InSync processor using the historical data.
5 of my quarters right now are in the northwest part of the state, and the traffic engineer out there that operates that part of the system tells me that he very rarely has to do much with it, and when he does, usually it just involves a phone call out to the folks at Rhythm if there's something that needs to be reset, if there's something he can't do. We have consultants on board as well, or contractors on board, that help us do some of these small tweaks if a communication system goes down or if there's some other things. Most of the problems we've had with it maintenance-wise have been actually with VDOT's older part of the system. It's a controller problem or it's a communications problem, but we've had very little issues with the InSync system itself as far as maintenance.
Our timing plans, you know, we give priority to Main Street. You know, I'm going to guarantee as wide a screen band as I can so I can pass them most amount of traffic I do. So they're used to waiting on side streets. One of the things with, you know, the systems that are in now with InSync is they get served quicker. So, you know, that's probably a good reason why we don't get any calls. One of the things we found out is, you know, if you set it up and you move your traffic through at speed, you increase the amount of throughput you can get on your arterials.
We've let the InSync system pretty well have free reign over phase selection and the sequencing of the lights. I haven't gotten any calls on that. Our feeling was that it makes the driver pay attention to the light rather than getting used to, hey, I have a north-south left, now I have a north-south through, now I have an east-west left, east-west through. And watching the InSync system, sometimes you look at it and scratch your head wondering why it did what it did once in a while. On our major corridor, the 5 intersections we have protected, or we have double lefts, so we have just protected left turn phasing. I've seen it do a southbound lead green left and through, and then do a north-south through, and then come back to a southbound left and through, and then to go to the side street. But then you look and see where the traffic is and how long the traffic's been waiting, and then it makes sense. So it, you know, it's truly serving the demand. They're not just that you have a vehicle, but that you have several vehicles that are waiting. In our city, if I don't get phone calls, I guess I'm doing a good job. Because we have a lot of type A personalities in West Des Moines, and I've had residents call me from their cell phones while they're sitting at a signal complaining about something. And I haven't gotten any phone calls along this. Our elected officials, they've been supportive of Traffic Adaptive in that, you know, as far as approving going after more grants and more money for expanding the system out.
We've gotten actually some very positive feedback from some of the localities near where we put these corridors in. Some elected officials who've written in and said they really appreciated it. We've got some general government staff employees at some of these local counties who knew what we were doing and understood it and wrote in to say how much they appreciated it. We do have schools along some of the middle. We actually have a university on one of the corridors. It was all set up when we did the configuration side of it. I mean, we knew pretty much what was going to be coming out of those roadways. So InSync so far has been able to handle it, a fluctuation in it. A good example that we did just have, probably one of the best corridors operating in the state with InSync right now, is our 250 corridor right outside of Charlottesville. And we closed down one end of the corridor just outside the InSync system. Big press releases telling everybody where the delays were going to be. They were rebuilding a bridge. And the new traffic pattern would pull it down an interstate ramp, right, not quite in the middle of the corridor, but 2 intersections from the end of it, out of 10 of the intersections. And it handled it very well. We had we were a little nervous. We had police on site and everybody there when the diversion actually kicked off that morning, and the police officers were never needed. We never really needed to do anything. We had Rhythm on call. They were viewing it from here in Kansas City and didn't have any problems with it. It worked like a charm.
Yeah, we have our regional mall along the one side of our corridor, and so we got a lot of traffic coming out of their exits, I guess. But we don't, our tunnels are more end-to-end, so we let that traffic get out onto the arterial and then pick up the tunnel at one of the intersections and then just go right on through. Future deployments, we're going to end up with 3 different interchanges on our arterials, and so we'll be looking at tunnels will be coming off the ramps at certain times a day to get that traffic off the ramp and on down. I think I had a case where we had my 2 intersection system, we get a lot of traffic there when it diverts off our freeway coming down, so all of a sudden when we have a diversion, we were starting to pick up a heavy left turn movement southbound that our distance back seen on the camera, we weren't programming enough time in, scheduling enough time in for those left turners for the demand, and we were going out of the left turn bay. So then it was just a matter of a phone call to Rhythm. They changed the parameter in there as far as the amount of time that was scheduled, and I think we even have a separate plan we can kick into during a diversion time. So to me, it was just a tweaking issue, and it was handled real quickly and satisfactorily.
We had a problem on one of our corridors where we kept losing a DSL line, and unfortunately the way the communications was set up on this corridor, we didn't set it up just with our normal wireless VPN type system with 1 DSL drop. We had 5 intersections and 4 DSL drops, and one of the intersections was connected with a wireless radio. I'm not real sure why they set it up that way, but they did. And when we would lose one of those DSL drops, that signal could not communicate anymore to the rest of them, and it caused the whole corridor pretty much to wig out for a while. And we were on the phone with Rhythm quite a bit, asking them what we could do, how we could get something to work out other than just going into some kind of historical mode, because then one intersection was in historical and the rest wasn't. And they came up with a way with the software to do a historical tunnel, and I think they mentioned that in one of the presentations earlier. But they came up with a way to do that so that when you do lose communication somewhere in the middle of a corridor, it can continue to run your tunnels, or at least what it's historically been running, so it's a lot closer than just one intersection running free and everybody else in sync with itself.
We're well satisfied with them. Whenever we have any issues, we can just give them a holler, tell them what we're seeing, and they jump right on it and fix the issues.
Cost-wise, we had a set amount of money that we went after, and we came up with a plan at the beginning, and we've actually exceeded the plan. I think originally we were looking at 10 intersections and 103 intersections and 10 corridors, and we're actually around 13 corridors and 111 intersections. So cost-wise, it was very easy for us to budget for, and it met the expectations that we had.
I'd say it's met our expectations. The install was easy, went very well.
I'm up here on an operator's panel, but I don't directly operate them. We have engineers in each region that handle it, but what I hear from them is that they've pretty much let it go, and if they get a call or an email alert, they handle it. But my understanding is it's very rare that they're getting issues they have to take care of.
We're not having to pump a lot of money into it. It's just out there, it's operating, it's, holding up, it's quality equipment. It's, we've had tons of video systems that fail on a pretty regular basis, but this is some tough stuff. It's held up.
Now let's say thank you to our panel.